Welcome to another episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. Today we've got an incredible guest in Ian Edwards, who's the chairman of the North Wales Crusaders. My name's Craig.
And my name's Karl.
Ian, first of all, thank you very much for spending a bit of time on match day. I know that time's precious on match day, for speaking to us today. And very exciting times at North Wales Crusaders at the minute.
Yeah, thanks for having us. No, it is, yeah. We've been working on the deal for a few weeks. You've always got that sort of trepidation that you're going to do all the hard work and the RFL might say, no, not happening, which might still happen, but we don't think it's going to happen. We don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, it's going to be some exciting times ahead for us if it all works as we think it's going to do.
Yeah, so we spoke briefly to Josh, the commercial director here, North Wales Crusaders, and he was buzzing about the news. Now, obviously, you've known about this for a couple of weeks, I would say, and then at the same time, there's almost doing like a parallel fundraising campaign. Back the crew. So can you just talk us through, what the implications of that was, or what the thought process behind that was?
It was like a two-pronged thought process, really. One was to see if anybody was interested in investing and getting involved, or failing that, then for people to sort of donate and help in whatever way they could to help us make up some of the money that we lost out on last year because of the season that we had that was disrupted. So obviously the ideal solution would be somebody came along and said, I want to buy the club and become a majority shareholder and make some investment. And it's looking like that's what happened. So that little exercise, fingers crossed, has sort of paid dividends for us.
Ian, I'm just going to rewind a little bit. You've been involved in the club, I think, 2011-ish? Was that the sort of time when the club reformed?
It was. So my background was just purely football. Didn't like rugby league at all.
Right, okay.
And then the Crusaders Super League team came to the race course, and it's like you're curious if something top quality is on your doorstep, you go and have a look to see what you think of it.
Elite sport,
whatever it is, exactly that. So the first game was the famous game against Leeds in the snow. The race course was full, and I just found myself going every week, and there was a Friday night match. It was against one of the Hull teams, can't remember which one, and the Crusaders won it in the last minute or something. And I remember getting in, the adrenaline was still going through me. And I said to my wife, have you ever seen me like this coming home from football? And she's like, no, never. And that's when it hit me that I actually really, really fell in love with the game. And then, of course, what happened then was I was sitting in my office in Chester with the telly on, when they were sort of reapplying for the licensing, and it said Crusaders have withdrawn. And I'm like, you can't do that. It's not fair. I've just got involved in it, And then, so that sort of club went under, and then because I'd been going to some of the Crusaders in business events that they'd been hosting at the racecourse, I got a phone call from one of the people who were setting up a new club, asking if I'd be willing to get involved, and I'm thinking to myself, well, somebody's got to do it, and I don't want to see it go. Yeah. So yeah, of course I will. So we did it, and we had to get a squad registered in time for the deadline. So I think the first squad consisted of 25 supporters who were just registered so we could say we got a squad. And then we had an open training. We then appointed Clive Griffiths and John Fieldhouse as coaches. And then we had an open training session down at Queensway in Wrexham, which is a stadium that we played at before COVID, and we came here, and all these lads turned up, and I remember seeing John O'Smith out there, and Tommy and Andy Mosedale, and it sort of went from there. And then so the board set up, and we had a decent game. First game against Barrow, I think we had over 1,500 in, and we were probably in the lead at half time, and we thought we were going to go on and win that, and we thought this is easy, and then it wasn't, and then we lost that one. And then the next game, I think we went down to Scholars and got absolutely tonked, about 66-6 or something like that. And that was a long bus journey home. That was not nice. And then there was I think 4 of us set it up originally, and then I'm sort of the only one left from the original group that set it up. And I said I'd do it for 2 years. And here we are,
If you dare to project your thoughts 2 years, 5 years in the future, what do you see there?
Well, you can't do that.
No.
And I know that from bitter experience, and this is going to sound like a dig, and it's not a dig, but we had 1 year in the championship, and the year that we were in the championship, they changed the rules so that instead of the bottom 2 coming down, the bottom 5 came down, and we finished fourth bottom. And you just think, how can you plan for anything? And it is very difficult at League One level to plan 2-3 years, because you just don't know what they're going to change, what they're going to move. So in terms of, to answer your question perhaps a bit more seriously, obviously if we've got some modest investment behind us, I don't think it takes a big deal, because for the last couple of years we have been punching above our weight. We made the playoff final last year with the smallest budget. I don't know how our coaches do it, but they seem to do it. So just having the resources just to improve by even 5-10% in key positions, I think it will hopefully, nobody likes to get carried away, do they? But I think it will put us in a good place. And really, we're looking, we've already been talking that next year the target is promotion, and then who knows after that.
So obviously North Wales Crusaders, there's heritage there. It's the only professional club in Wales.
Yeah.
How much does the Welsh vein run through the club? I mean, how many local players roughly? I know you might have exact numbers, but how much is it a draw for your supporters as well?
That's something we've been working on, and we've only really managed to start making headway in that area within the last 2 years since we set up the foundation. Because the difficulty is North Wales, obviously. Well, I'm a Wrexham supporter, so I'm not going to say unfortunately.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's all the attention at the moment on the football club, but that's great.
Yeah.
I go along. I've got season tickets. I'm not knocking that. So at the moment, the thing that all the kids are getting into in Wrexham at the moment is and North Wales is football. Then you've got rugby union.
Yeah.
And the difficulty is that in the schools, the kids play football or rugby union. And what we've been trying to do since before COVID even was to get rugby league coaches into schools, and I'd actually managed to make some progress in one of the secondary schools I'm involved with, and then COVID came along and stopped it. So what we've got now is we set up a foundation a couple of years ago, and Jonathan, who runs the foundation on the operative side, he is doing kids coaching, going into schools, doing groups on a weekend and in the evening, because what we don't want to, we'd love to have Welsh players in the team, of course we would, that would be fantastic, but they've got to be good Welsh players. We don't want Welsh players in there for the sake of being Welsh and they get tonked every week. That's no good for anybody. So we sort of realise that if these kids are going to be coming through, it's going to be a couple of years before they're ready. So that's something that we're working on, but it's going to take time. There's no sort of, you can't microwave it and do it quicker. It takes as long as it takes, doesn't it?
Can I just touch on the foundation a little bit? I was here last year, and there seemed to be an awful lot of kids all playing on the pitch before the game, and a lot of the junior clubs in the area were all wearing the Crusaders Foundation badge on the shirts. Do you know how many sort of kids you've got involved in the area at the minute?
You're probably better off asking Jonathan. I think it's over a couple of hundred. It's a couple of hundred, I think, altogether.
Yeah.
And they enjoy, and it's great because I was at a business dinner. Where was it? It was somewhere in Llandudno a couple of months ago, and two of the people on the table with me didn't know them. Turns out that we got talking, and two of their kids are playing for the foundation team, and they love it. So it's already starting to grow out, sort of, because we are North Wales Crusaders. We were always Wrexham Crusaders, probably, if I'm honest, when we were in the racecourse. But what we want to be is North Wales, and that's towards Holyhead and Anglesey that way, and towards Flint and Rhyl and not Denbigh, as Ruthin, the other way, just sort of the whole of North Wales.
Yeah. I
don't want anybody in North Wales thinking, oh, that's not our part of North Wales, that's not for us. It is. It's for anybody who wants to get involved.
Looking at the Takeover deal then, what sort of role are you going to be playing in the club as this goes through? Do you know at the minute, or? Yeah,
we've all said that we're happy to carry on.
Right.
And I'm happy to do whatever is required of me. Whether if Jamie says, actually, I've thought about it and I'm bringing in 6 people, and thanks, but you're not required. I think, well, when we set the club up, our job was to keep it going.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking, well, I've done that. I'm not precious about it.
Would you be happy walking away at that point, knowing that the club was in safe hands, or
not happy, because I've been doing it that long and I love it.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, but you have to put the club before you put yourself. Or above yourself even. So I'd never walk away completely. If Jamie said, look, I've got to do boarding, I'd still be in as a volunteer or something.
Yeah.
I'm watching the games. I'm just happy. I'm not precious about it. It's not an ego thing. If they want me involved, and the plan is that we are going to be involved, then I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. Because why wouldn't you? Because once you stop, you probably stop forever, and I think I'd miss it.
Yeah.
So I'm relaxed about it. I think Jamie's based out in Dubai, so he's not going to be here all the time, or much of the time, I suppose. So I'm relaxed. We wouldn't have just got into a deal with somebody without checking them and making sure we knew what they were about. And he's got a rugby league background himself. So I'm here to do what people want me to do. And if that's nothing, then I'll go off and I'll have a cry and that'll be the end of it. But whatever. But I'm relaxed. I'd like to stay involved. I'd like to stay on the board because I do enjoy it. We have a good relationship with the fans. I enjoy the relationship with other clubs as well, to be fair. And I quite like my Sundays spent at the rugby, so carry it on for as long as I can.
Has Jamie got links to North Wales?
Not as far as I know. I don't think he's a Warrington lad originally, isn't he? I think he knows some of the lads who've played for North Wales, but I don't think so. But Andy Moledale's been our CEO. In fact, when we set the club up, nobody had links to North Wales apart from the directors. Clive was from the south. All the lads that sort of played for us were from the sort of heartlands northwest of England. So. He hasn't, I don't think, but I don't think that's an issue for us, to be fair. Okay,
just kind of leading on from that, I always ask people what are the obstacles and the opportunities that being located where you are brings to the Crusaders?
Obstacles is probably population size. I don't think Colwyn Bay it's not a big place, is it? So we haven't got the big city sort of population to draw on. Opportunities, I think it's a nice place for people to come and have a weekend and come and watch the rugby. I think North Wales is fiercely proud of the fact that it's North Wales, and I think if we can, what we're trying to do as well is the other thing is in this sort of part of Wales, and more so the further sort of west you go, is the pride in the Welsh language. And what we're trying to do, and what we've been trying to do already, is to increase our output of bilingual messages and things like that. Because I think if we can, the Welsh-speaking community like to think that they're still thought of, not thought of, they are thought of, but that they're still respected and involved. So we need to sort of maybe garner a bit more the sort of the fact that we are a Welsh team. We're the only team in Wales, now that West Wales went. And I think what we'd like to do as well is probably work a bit closer with Wales Rugby League so that they can bring internationals to North Wales. That'd be great if we could do that. So I think those are what I would sort of see as the immediate obstacles and opportunities. The other sort of obstacle at the moment is the size of League One. You can go weeks without a game. Yeah. It's almost like when we played a couple of games at the start of the season, and then, as Karl said, it's like having a second pre-season because you're getting ready to go. And I think one of our lads, I think he's back today, Pat, got a 5 or 6 match ban, and we haven't seen him since January because it takes that long to play 6 games. It's the same for all clubs, isn't it? I suppose. But I think what we're trying to do is really identify ourselves as being a Welsh team and get some Welsh pride behind us.
Just a little bit of speculation, if you like. I love a bit of speculation, but obviously we've got clubs now starting to bid to enter League One. Is there a particular team or a geographical location that would favour North Wales Crusaders? Maybe a closer opposition or less travel? I don't know. But
it's difficult, isn't it? Because as a sort of a non-Heartlands club ourselves, you don't want to say to people, we don't want to travel too far, because people could quite easily say, we've got to come to you. Look at where you are. It is, I mean, travelling to West Wales when they were in Llanelli, although people called it the Welsh Derby, it was our longest trip. And we'd leave Wrexham at 7 o'clock in the morning and get home at midnight. And that's your local derby. Cornwall obviously is an overnighter. That's too old, and we're going there twice this year. My answer to that would be, it is what it is. I wouldn't want our convenience or inconvenience to influence which clubs were successful. The game, it can't just be a 2-county sport. It can't, and it needs to grow. And being selfish about it, somewhere just outside the Heartlands would be better. But I think, is it Bedford have applied?
Yeah, Bedford. Goole.
So I mean, it's a good way to see other parts of the country, if nothing else, isn't it? You know, so it does bring difficulties though, because the longer the trips, the more expensive the coach hire is, and you don't get that back. So it does have a financial implication. So yeah, I suppose somewhere not too far, but I'm not that. But it will take it on the do whatever it is. Yeah.
You was talking about the sort of the identity of North Wales Crusaders. I know the colour scheme and all that was probably in place before you came along. What is the reasoning behind the black and yellow or black and amber? Do you know, or was it?
I think that was the old Celtic Crusaders colours,
right?
And I think we've sort of tried red. We've got white at the moment, and so not really. We just sort of at the start of every season, we just sort of think. We have a sample of different designs and things what we like. We've got the sort of the imprint of the castle a couple of years ago. I think we've got Snowdon on there this time. I'm not sort of that in sort of invested in that. To be fair, it is. I think it's just tradition. We've just carried it on. We more or less kept the same badge as well. More or less, not exactly the same, but
slight variation.
Just to sort of try and keep a consistency.
Yeah, and obviously Karl and I are staying for the game today. As your, in your position of the chair of the club, what should we kind of look out for apart from obviously the great rugby on the pitch?
I think the fans. I think they're our biggest asset at the moment. They'll get behind the players regardless, and we know Oldham are a good side. We know they're probably expected to win. So for today, I just think, look at the spirit of the whole club from the kids who are out there or will be out there shortly.
Yeah.
Just to how it's all sort of one big. I don't like the word family because that's a bit of a cliche, but it's one
community.
Collective of community is a good word. Yeah. Just to sort of because people come along. And it's not for them. It's not just about the 80 minutes of rugby. They come along with their mates. They have a bit of a drink in the bar, a bit of a sing-song. At the end of the game, they'll stay and have a drink with the players. So I think for our supporters, without taking them for granted, the result's important, but it's not the be-all and end-all. And that's what I like about the away games. It is so good when you get to an away game and somebody meets you off the team coach and they've had a great day out with their mates. And for some of them, it's what they look forward to every weekend. And you do so at the risk of sounding sort of conceited. One of the things you get out of it is you sort of think, if it wasn't for us doing this, you wouldn't be having this experience.
What would we be doing,
And it makes it worthwhile for me. And we've had supporters who obviously unfortunately died, and their families have thanked us for if it wasn't for the Crusaders, we wouldn't know who to turn to. We've got our friends through the Crusaders. Yeah. So I think, great rugby, and there'll be exciting rugby to watch, obviously. But I just think, just to sort of take back and if hopefully people can see what a community sort of feeling there is about the club. I think that's the thing I like about it the best, I think.
Bang on way to finish, I think.
Is there anything that you want to get across? Anything we should have asked you?
No, not that you should have asked me, but I would like, what I'd like a plea, if you like, to the people of North Wales. Like I said at the start, I didn't think I liked rugby league until I went to watch it, because I'd seen it on the telly and it didn't excite me. So come and watch us and help us promote North Wales. Come and get involved, and you can get involved in the same way that our fans get involved. So I'd like loads of people from North Wales to come and make us their club of choice. Give us a go, see what you think, and you might like it, and then keep coming back. And the more people we have coming through the gates and paying to come in, the more we can invest in the team, and the better we'll be.
And there's no better time than now to come along.
100%, there's no better time than now. No, this is the start of something big, hopefully, and why not be a part of it from the off?
100%.
It's funny you mentioned the fans. So we bumped into some fans at the Midlands game, didn't we? Got chatting to them.
At the Hurricanes.
One of the guys had cycled. He'd cycled
over
there. I don't know if you know the story.
There's a couple of them go.
Yeah. So and then we met him again at another game. Can't remember where it was.
Yeah, and I met him at the League One final again.
But it was like, right, we're going to have a word with these Crusaders fans, and it was the same bloke.
And that's what they're like, and that's the thing with rugby. I mean, when we were playing Newcastle, like one of the Newcastle fans actually rang me in the office, for a chat, and there was actually there's somebody called. He says he's called Kevin from. Yeah, I know he is. Put him through. And it's like trying to work, but you get fans of other. He's probably watching this, having a laugh and taking the mick and calling me a muppet, I suppose, knowing him. But that's what they get. That's what the game is, isn't it? That other sports don't get. I think.
Yeah. Ian,
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
Thank you.
And it's great to get an insight into your club and your community as well, and we can't wait to experience it tonight.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Ian.
That's the final whistle for this week's episode of the Rugby League Outsiders. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow us on social media and share this podcast with your friends. And as always, if you have a story to tell, a club to plug, or a player that deserves recognition, we want to hear from you. So until next time on the Rugby League Outsiders, take care.